Chapter 16, Gaia. Yes, I can. When I say the spirit of the world, you must not compare the characteristics of the human spirit to the characteristics of the world's spirit. Otherwise, it will cause confusion. Just like you know that the spirit of a human is different from the spirit of a tree. The word spirit is a word I use to refer to the core in creating and driving for humans and animals only. So now I will use a new word to refer to the spirit of the world. Let's just say, I will call this thing Gaia. This thing has the characteristics of an energy box, performing many functions at the same time. He began to explain. The first is acting as a link and transferring energy with all living things on Earth, as you already know. All humans, all animals, all plants must release a type of energy to feed into the center of the Earth. This energy will react with pure oxygen to cause an explosion and break down, causing the Earth's movement and rotation, causing oxygen gas to rise to act as a driver to prevent the tectonic plates from collapsing, as a shield against dangers from meteorites and space debris. When those oxygen molecules rise above the Earth's crust, and the oxygen gas is also the mechanism for nourishing all life on Earth. If we were to define this first function of Gaia, in the past, people defined it as mother, because this quality is what nourishes all the children on Earth to have life. It's like a mother who carries a child, because every human, before being born on Earth, for the first time, their spirit must start here. The being of Gaia, therefore, acts as a transfer of energy, back and forth between you and the spirit of the universe, especially the energy called love and compassion, which all living things on Earth must produce to feed Gaia, to nourish their own lives. He explained, the second is acting as a link with the origin. Gaia will act as a receiver of signals, directly from God, if there is any abnormality. God will know immediately through Gaia, and Gaia of Earth also works through connecting with the Gaia of other planets. Because every planet has its own Gaia, you can easily observe whether a planet has Gaia or not. It must have a spherical physical form. If a planet is not spherical, it means it does not have Gaia in general. Almost no planet in the entire cosmos is not spherical. He explained. I've also wondered why the Earth, the Moon, the Sun, and all the stars are spherical, I commented, based on what he explained and what I had wondered. The image you see is the shape that is the result of Gaia, because its energy state comes from a spherical core, he further explained. The third is creating balance. This matter is of cosmic importance. Do you think that what acts as the driver for the Earth to rotate on its axis, causing day and night accurately, causing the solar system to move, causing the months and years to be counted accurately, and acts as the driver for the galaxy system to rotate on its axis, causing the zodiac to be counted accurately, and acts as the driver for the cosmos to create different eras, causing changes to the cycles of time and the largest great era? Would it be just an object floating aimlessly? It's impossible. Scientists and most people on your Earth think so. Since your Earth is like the center of the cosmos, Gaia must act to create balance, to be accurate and precise. I could only listen without commenting. The fourth is the function of backing up data. In this vast universe, do you know what is most important? He began to explain by asking a question. God's mind. I replied, to the best of my ability, to think. You're right that God's mind is the most important. But if God's mind is only a mind or only feelings, without receiving any events in the universe, would God still be important? He asked further, then what is most important? I asked, the stories or experiences of everyone since the beginning of time. No matter who they are, whether they are a king, a national leader, or a homeless person on the street, all stories are experiences that God wants to preserve well. When we know that God is the source of information from all over the cosmos, sent from all directions, creating a vast source of universal knowledge, Gaia is also the source of storing all the information that has ever occurred on this planet. It is a source of information that humans can use, even if they have the lowest level of love, which is love for themselves, love for their peers, love for their organization. This is the reason why people who can invent new innovations can create works to meet their own needs, even if they don't do it from the highest level of love, can draw on this knowledge. Because anyone who asks a question or sets a firm intention to do something, they can access this knowledge. Because this knowledge is under Gaia's backup data source, he said. Oh wow. And where is Gaia? I asked. Your world is a sphere. Where do you think the core of that sphere would be? He asked in return. Wouldn't it be in the very center of the diameter? I replied. Precisely. This is the fundamental energy pattern of Gaia. This form is considered the most basic because everything originates from a central point. If we were to arrange complexity from least to most, all things would begin with this type of energy configuration, he answered. Why did Gaia come into existence, and when did it begin? I inquired. If we count back to before the primordial void, or to the first moment God felt his own existence and consciousness, at that time he found himself adrift in emptiness. Nothing was apparent except darkness. It was then that the first question arose from his curiosity. Is there anything besides me? He then set out to search in that darkness and emptiness. But no matter which direction he explored, down, left, right, front, back, whether at high speed or slowly, he found nothing. And it seemed that exploration made no difference between stillness and movement. No speed and no slowness, no near and no far. No left, right, front, or back. Because there was nothing to compare them to. When he found nothing, he desired to have someone as a companion. The instant he formed this intention, another consciousness appeared, possessing the same nature as his own formless energy being. God then realized that his own being had the same nature as this newly appeared consciousness. When the consciousness of God and the second consciousness conversed, they both agreed to help create new consciousnesses. At that time, they both willed into existence countless more consciousnesses, using the method of dividing themselves into two, and each consciousness that had divided then divided itself into two again and again. It was an unlimited division, like a chain reaction, until the final result was the appearance of countless consciousnesses with the same nature, shimmering throughout this vast expanse. What appeared now was that every consciousness that had divided still retained all its original properties, and every consciousness was no longer bound by the laws of shape and size, whether large or small at the moment of their ultimate division. These consciousnesses still possessed the same energy particles in their entirety, even though the law of space had now come into being because of the positions of the countless, immeasurable consciousnesses, allowing for the perception of boundaries. It still seemed as though something was missing. Therefore, an agreement was made among the consciousnesses that had divided themselves to define themselves into tangible forms, with this consciousness as the heart or core. Thus, the essence of Gaia is comprised of one thought, or one consciousness, possessing the qualities of an energy box, which would serve to create the physical characteristics of the world, what its attributes would be, through codes that God had predetermined. I explained to you earlier that when God wishes to create something, He does not personally undertake the creation Himself. Instead, God uses the method of encoding the essence of what He desires to create and then allows that essence to create itself. And at that time, each consciousness took on the task of creating itself into tangible forms or various celestial bodies through God's codes contained within each consciousness. Gaia can therefore be considered one of the initial creations that He willed into existence. Consequently, it was not yet very complex or perfect, He explained. Is there something still imperfect? I wondered, as I didn't see any flaws in Gaia.